So we live in the best time in human history to be a self-recording home studio musician. Amazing tools like MIDI drum software and amp sims that allow us to record full pro-level productions and albums without having to have a ton of expensive gear has revolutionized the way that we record modern music. These tools keep getting better and better over time, but ironically enough, if you've been paying attention, most of the results that we hear when it comes to people recording at home aren't that great. And ironically enough, tools like impulse responses are actually what holds so many people back. I hear this all the time. Now, if you record at home and you use impulse responses and you're not happy with your results, this is the video for you. I'm gonna show you how you can overcome the challenges that so many of us face and get right to producing the results that your music rightfully deserves. Let's dive into it. All right, so I'm gonna jump right into it and play some audio samples for you. Right here is a sample of a track that I'm currently working on. I'm using an old school amp sim, nothing fancy, and a basic impulse response, and just a touch of EQ. Nothing else. No compression, no saturation, nothing fancy. Let's listen to the mix so far. So in my opinion, that's a pretty solid guitar tone. I'm extremely happy with these results, and I haven't even mixed the track yet. This is pretty raw. Now I'm gonna play the same audio sample, and this is what I hear most people working with when it comes to their guitar tone. Let's check it out. All right, let's hear these two back to back. So as you can hear, it is a night and day difference. The only thing I changed was the impulse response. And the truth is, impulse responses are great. The problem is that so many of them that are available on the market and even downloadable for free are horrible. Completely unusable. I don't know why this is the case, but I can't tell you the amount of times that people send me their mixes asking what's wrong with their guitar tone, how to change their guitar mix, what EQ they should use, what compression they should use, when the real problem really in reality is their crappy impulse response. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm going to solo the bad impulse response and let's see how we could fix this IR. Now, spoiler alert, I'm gonna share with you the true secret to bypassing all of this hoopla at the end of this tutorial, so stay tuned. Okay, so let's hear that bad sounding IR once more. It just sounds weird, fizzy, like there's a blanket over the speakers. Now, my gut is telling me I want to cut some of the lower mids, maybe boost some of the top end. Let's see if that works. Yeah, so that definitely didn't work. When I cut the lower mids, it just made the guitar tone sound cold. And when I boosted the top end, I just got more crappy fizz. So EQ is not the answer here. Let's try another impulse response to see if I'm losing my mind or not. So I'm gonna call this impulse response B. So this IR just sounds odd altogether. There's definitely weird notches going on as far as phase is concerned. If I had to use EQ, I kind of want to boost to mid-range, like around 1K. Let's see if that works. Garbage. This IR is completely unusable, and I think I even paid for this IR, so not good. Sort of a waste of money. Let's move on to the third one. Let's go to IR letter C. Yeah, this one, I hear a lot of grain in the top end. It just doesn't sit right in the mix. Again, I could go in there, I could EQ this to death. I could try multi-band compression. The truth is, that is not going to solve anything. And I'm gonna prove it right now. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make the EQ flat on both guitar tracks. By the way, this EQ is on both of my guitar tracks. They're linked, and it's just one guitar on the left, one guitar on the right. That's it. And let's go with IR-D. Again, no processing, just a low pass filter and a high pass filter. That's it. No notching, no compression. And let's hear how this IR sits in the mix. Again, with no processing. And this IR is completely raw. There wasn't even any processing done when the IR was captured. Let's check it out. So I don't know about you, but the second I played this IR back, the mix just sounded complete. I felt like it needed a little bit of manipulation in the lower mids, but honestly, that was just to get the guitar tracks to sit properly next to the drums. I didn't feel like I had to reinvent the wheel with the tone. And that's the big secret here. Find an IR you don't want to change. So in this tutorial, when we listened to IR A, B, and C, number one, you probably noticed that they sounded like crap. And my gut instinct was to fix them. Not good. You don't want this. The fourth IR, IR-D, immediately sounded like a blanket was lifted off the speakers. That fizzy top end disappeared. And I just reduced the lower mids by a couple dB just so that the snare had some room to poke through. Again, this is specific to this mix. And this isn't even a complete mix, and already it's sounding professional, in my opinion. This mix and production is gonna come together very easily. And there's hardly any processing going on, next to no processing going on the guitars themselves. And the good news for you is that you could download this exact impulse response that I've shared in this video for absolutely free. It'll sound great even if you're using a free amp sim. You don't need to spend money to achieve great results. You could use free drum software, free amp sims, stock plugins, and still achieve a pro level mix if you understand how. And again, a huge part of that is using a proper IR, and you could have this one for absolutely free. Now, I'm not saying that all impulse responses are bad. Obviously, there are some amazing ones out there. I've heard people get great results with the Bogren Digital impulse responses. Also, I think it's the Archetype Gojira plugin. I've never used it myself, but I've heard amazing mixes that people have sent to me using that plugin with the stock IRs in that amp sim. But that's more the exception than the rule. 95% of the IRs that people use are terrible. Another secret here is that you don't need a lot of IRs. Honestly, me, myself, I use 1, 2, maybe 3. Find one that works and move on with your life. Make your life easier and focus on the things that actually matter, like the production as a whole. So I'm curious to know, do you struggle with guitar tone and maybe you're confused by impulse responses? Maybe you're constantly buying new amp sims and swapping out IRs 24/7 and still you're not happy with your results? Don't be shy, leave a comment below in this video's description. I'd love to hear what you've been up to in your home studio. Again, you could have this IR for absolutely free. There's a link below in this video's description. Download it, it's all yours. Load it into your DAW and have fun. Until next time, drink that Spindrift.